Life hacks that will change your destiny. First rule, Pygmalion effect, Rosenthal effect, or experimenter's bias. The names are different, but they speak to the same psychological effect. Where a person's expectations of themselves or other people's expectations of someone determine the future actions of both themselves and others. The story of the experiment was that psychologist Robert Rosenthal selected elementary school students with high IQ test scores and gave this data to the teachers of those classes. In reality, there were no outstanding students, and their test scores were exactly the same as those of all the other children. But at the end of the year, these students' scores improved by 30% because the teachers changed their attitudes toward them based on the IQ test facts communicated to them, and tried to motivate them, support them, give them more creative space, etc. Teachers expected them to overestimate their results and unknowingly did everything to make those results true. Much has been said about the environment and its importance. People around us are important for us and our development. This psychological effect has a place in the life of each of us. As my friend says, if you tell and repeat to a man that he is a pig, sooner or later he will grunt. In the same way, we ourselves can decide and notice how we act and what we do. If we are surrounded by people who constantly indoctrinate us with baseless feelings of guilt, shame, disbelief in ourselves and our strengths, devalue us, make fun of our plans and so on, then that's how you will feel, doing chaotic repetitive actions that will get you nowhere. But if these people believe in you, support you, speak the language of logic and facts, inspire you, then your actions will be productive and pleasant, first of all, for you. Of course, you yourself bear most of the responsibility for your life, but the environment is no less important. Second rule, you are poor and unsuccessful because you fixate on poverty and failure. You spend hours scrolling through a tape with useless information, talking to people on meaningless topics. And if we ask you what you have learned from this new information and how it is useful for your life, it turns out that nothing and nothing at all. To become rich, and this is not only a matter of material wealth, but also spiritual, it is worth paying attention to those things that develop you and that with each approach make you a more professional master of your craft. Undoubtedly. In this case, discipline is also important. Someone who is engaged in his development does not waste time on meaningless nonsense in an inordinate amount. Such a person focuses primarily on his own learning. Rich is the one who knows how to properly use his most valuable resource. And that resource is your time. Third rule, respect yourself and your life. Without respect for yourself, there is no respect for others. Never berate yourself in front of other people. As well as do not let others berate you and talk bad about you. But remember one golden rule, always work on yourself. Listen, but do your action for yourself and with respect for yourself. There is no such thing as someone talking bad about you, because they are just that kind of person and there is nothing you can do about it. No. It is up to you to take care of what and who surrounds you. If something or someone is destroying your self-esteem and your identity, you shouldn't have to put up with it and endlessly explain to someone how things should be if it doesn't change anything. Someone who speaks ill of you only wants to sink you to where they themselves are, namely the bottom. There is no love in that and there is no help or growth. Don't listen to anyone, but live your life and your path the way you want it to be lived, without involving others and those who don't want it. Even those closest to you can give the wrong advice. Do everything out of love for yourself and love what you do. Fourth rule, go your own way and don't look at everyone else who you think is better than you. For the most part, humans are not capable of seeing the whole picture of a single equation. We see what we want to see. And if we see someone as more successful, better, richer, and so on, then ask yourself, what about their health, their relationships with people, their family, their relationships with their children, and what price they have paid for what you see in the image of that person. Everyone's path is different, and so is yours including. If you want to live a decent and fulfilling life, it is better not to listen to anyone, and go your own way. Fifth rule, a healthy self-esteem is when a person knows how to take a no stance. It is the ability to say no when you don't want to give an affirmative yes answer. When you know how to feel, understand and move through life your way. When you can disagree with someone's opinion if it contradicts your inner logic and facts. When you can say no if you don't want to do something to the obvious detriment of yourself, even though that's what the other person wants you to do. It's hard, it's difficult. But if you are not the master of your life, it's run by everyone to whom you can't give a clear answer no. Sixth rule: if you do something that other people don't do, be prepared to be criticized and to be misunderstood. Be prepared to be seen as something you are not. And people's feedback about you will not be for the better. Yes, you are some kind of wrong, and you will be tossed from side to side worse than the worst storm. Be prepared for this. Growth often comes with pain and despair. People will always say something about you. These are just their projections and shadow side. There will always be those who will love and praise you and those who will criticize and hate. But when you fall, both will walk all over you. Those who demand and achieve great things from themselves must feel very distant from those who do not. This distance will be interpreted by those others as conceit. Friedrich Nietzsche. Drafts and Sketches, Spring 1884. Seventh rule: no one is coming to save you. No one. As long as you sit and wait for it and complain every day about your life and what's wrong with it as you would like it to be, engaging in blaming your family, people, boss and everything that can be blamed, nothing good will happen in it. And if it does, you simply won't notice it. No one will come and save you. As long as you blame everything in your life, you will lose what is still in it. No one will come and save you. As long as you blame everything in your life, you will lose what is still in it. Resentment is anger built up. Anger, blocking out the clear sight of what is happening around you, sizzles everything in its path. Take responsibility for your life. Create yourself. And then you will depend only on yourself, and no one will be able to tell you that you can do nothing and are not worthy of anything. Eighth rule: life teaches you to be able to combine extremes. In a dualistic world and human life, things will never be as smooth and as you want them to be. Life teaches you to love people and know that they can hurt. To admire nature and be prepared for its elements. Life from the beginning of our journey teaches us to see this world from all sides. So that you can move along the path of life and balance without slipping into a deep pit of extremes in which you will perish by obsessing over something and wasting time. Ninth rule: a self-reliant person becomes self-reliant when he or she has dealt with his or her own problems alone. Such a person is dangerous to those who manipulated him, who did not believe and pulled to the bottom. Independent person in the spirit does not tolerate such people, and those who at least at the slightest opportunity will try to inspire him with self-doubt. Independent man himself forms his own environment, and nothing else will not stop him to move his way. 10th rule: believe in yourself. Your belief in yourself is the strongest and most powerful thing about you. Nothing and no one will break you as long as your faith lives in you. Dark times are hardening, but you want to give up just as much. Dark times happen, and hand in hand with them comes fear, and faith in yourself gets shallow. But in this place and time lies your greatest strength and growth. Continue onward and believe in yourself. 1th rule: stop blaming yourself for your past, present and future. You will always be wrong. What's more important is to learn from it. Change and move on. Blaming yourself is treading water. Take a step, another step, and so on, and you'll see your actions change and you change. You can't be perfect at everything all the time, and you can't help but make mistakes as you take new steps. 12th rule: stop looking for success. Nothing starts with a new day or year. Nothing starts with a vacation or certain things you want but don't have right now. Happiness, success and everything else is just a byproduct of what you are doing right now and what you enjoy. What develops you and brings out your talents and capabilities is what happiness and success is all about. Someone who does something without interest and love for their work just wants to get what they want, to assert themselves at the expense of others. Because such a person has no love for himself and no faith in his own abilities inside. Love what you do and do your work with interest. Life will always present new challenges, and only those who take the risk consciously and play the game with personal interest will be able to overcome. Thanks for watching.